Today we're going to tackle the structure of one of the world's most influential books, the Quran. And we're going to find a single, pretty simple key that helps make sense of its unique and, let's be honest, sometimes confusing arrangement. Let's dive right in.
So, the Quran is made up of 114 chapters, which are called surahs. Now, these range from being incredibly long to just a few short verses. But here's the thing that trips people up right away. They are not arranged in chronological order. After the first chapter, they're basically organized by length, from the longest to the shortest.
So you've got this massive book, it's not in the order it was revealed. Where do you even begin? It can seem a little daunting, right? But it turns out there's a surprisingly simple key that unlocks the entire structure.
And that key, it's all about geography. The real organizing principle of the Quran isn't about the topic or how long a chapter is. No, it's all about location, the two cities of Makkah and Medina. And believe me, this context is everything.
You see, every single one of those 114 chapters is classified as either Meccan or Medinan. Now, this isn't just some historical trivia for a quiz night. This division really defines the tone, the style, and the core message of each and every chapter. It actually mirrors the journey of the early Muslim community.
Just take a look at this. You can see right away how the final book mixes these two periods. Chapter 1 is from Mecca, but then boom, Chapter 2 is from Medina. Then you might jump back to another Meccan chapter. This shows you can't just read it from front to back and expect a linear story. You really need this geographical lens to see the bigger picture.
And because of this, it's almost like you're hearing two distinct voices throughout the text. The Meccan voice is really poetic, it's powerful, and it's focused on the absolute fundamentals, the nature of God, the afterlife, personal faith. Then you have the Medinan voice, which is much more detailed and practical. It's basically a blueprint for society, laws, ethics, how to govern.
Okay, so let's dig into that first voice, the Meccan period. This is where the whole spiritual foundation is laid. So Al-Fatiha, the opening. It's short, just 7 verses, but is considered the absolute essence of the Quran. It's recited in every single one of the 5 daily prayers. I mean, that alone tells you just how central this chapter is. It is pure foundational theology. Just listen to the tone here. It's totally focused on praise, right? It's about establishing that core, direct relationship between a person and the divine. It's universal, but it's also deeply personal. This is that Meccan voice.
And this right here, this hits the central theme of the entire Meccan period. It's a plea for spiritual guidance. It's all about finding the right path, about orienting your soul before you deal with anything else. So, what it all boils down to is this. The Meccan chapters are the bedrock. They establish the why of the faith, the core beliefs, that direct connection to God, and what an individual's spiritual purpose is.
All right, now let's do a complete 180 and look at a chapter from the Medinan period. Here, the focus shifts dramatically from the individual's soul to, well, the community's body.
You have to remember, after the migration to Medina, things changed. A lot. The community wasn't just a small group of believers anymore, it was now a state. It needed rules, laws, a social structure, and that's exactly what you find in the longest chapter of the Quran, Al-Baqarah.
I mean, just look at this list. We're talking about a full-on guide to life. Legal codes, economic principles, family law, even rules of engagement. If Mecca established the why of the faith, Medina for sure establishes the how you actually live together as a just and organized society.
And listen to how the language changes here. It's totally different from Al-Fatiha. Right off the bat, "O you who believe," that's not talking to one person. That's an address to the collective, to the whole community. It's prescriptive, and it's laying down a shared practice that's going to bind everyone together.
And if you thought that was practical, check this out. This is specific legal guidance for making sure there's fairness in financial dealings. You can't get much more societal than that. It's about building a just framework for everyday life. This is the voice of Medina.
Okay, so we've seen both sides of the coin, the Meccan and the Medina. What's the big takeaway from all this?
Well, the biggest thing to remember is that this non-chronological order, it isn't a flaw, it's a feature. It actually shows us a text that grew and evolved with the real-world needs of its community, addressing spiritual needs first and then societal needs later.
It's really a powerful 2-step process when you think about it. First, in Mecca, you build the foundation of belief. Then, on top of that solid foundation, you build the framework for a just society in Medina. One really can't exist without the other.
And this is really why this all matters. Understanding this context completely changes how you read the text. It stops being just a collection of verses and rules. Instead, you start to see a story unfolding, the story of a community grappling first with faith, and then with all the complexities of building a world based on that faith.
And all of this leaves us with a final, really powerful question. For any historical text, not just this one, how much does understanding the when and the where of its creation unlock a deeper understanding of the what and the why of its message? It's a great reminder that behind every book, there's a world.